2018 BMW 2 Series Active Tourer Review. The good points of BMW 2 Series Active Tourer. Some badge kudos. Premium interior. 4-wheel drive option. 3-cylinder refinement. The bad points of BMW 2 Series Active Tourer. Tough competition. Awkward styling. Can get pricey. Among the barrage of recent SUVs stealing sales from small people carriers left, right and center, it's amazing the 2 Series Active Tourer exists, and BMW has facelifted it into 2018 form. But then BMW wouldn't be going after its job whether or not this didn't offer something for everybody. And rivals, for example the Ford C-Max, Volkswagen Golf SV and Citroën C4 Picasso, ought to be worried. Because of the BMW badge, both the Series Active Tourer is easily the most desirable compact 5-seat people carrier available on the market. There's a 7-seat version due later also, and both promise to produce practicality to BMW fans that can't live without the company's image as well as credentials. See also the BMW 2 Series Grand Tourer Review. Front-wheel drive as standard. Watching the spec sheet they might expect to be described as a little disappointed. Gasp. The BMW 2 Series Active Tourer was the first car to emerge through the hallowed halls of BMW that sends its drive through the top wheels, so long as you ignore the BMW-owned Mini label of course. However, what this means is it's quicker to drive than in the past, and even though ultimately it's not quite as precise or engaging being a 3 Series saloon, it's still the sharpest in the compact MPV pack with good steering and excellent body control. Add to how the option from the xDrive 4-wheel drive system, a decision that's been incredibly popular along the rest from the firm's range in the UK, plus it's no surprise how the 225i and 220d models are going to be available using this type of later around. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, petrol or diesel choices. There's some engines to pick from, one 4-cylinder diesel and something 3-cylinder petrol, both which has a focus on economy and efficiency as an alternative to performance. The former produces 150 horsepower and 330 Nm looking at the 2.0-litre turbocharged unit, completing the 0 to 62 mph sprint in 8.9 seconds. Slightly slower, as a result of its smaller displacement, 1.5 litres, could be the 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol, which will take 9.3 seconds to accomplish the same benchmark sprint and produces 136 horsepower and 220 Nm of torque. The good news is it's more refined, and you'd find it hard to detect it's simply a 3-cylinder unless driving it problematical. Both engines can be purchased in a variety of tunes, through the 216D using the 220D diesel. There are the 220i and 225i petrol engines. A choice of automatic gearboxes, 6-speed for your 3 cylinders and 8-speed for your 4, supplement the common 6-speed manual gearbox coming from all engines. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, still an eco-friendly choice. The 3-cylinder petrol and efficient diesel both boast industry-leading emissions. As you move, the plug-in hybrid version adds limited battery-only running. All diesels incorporate some form of exhaust gas treatment tech and the sort of particulate filter and selective catalytic reduction using AdBlue. The lower-powered petrol and diesel models created less than 120 grams/km of CO2, ensuring cheap annual road tax costs, as well as the triple-cylinder petrol can return over 57 miles per gallon. The diesel bettering this by over 10 miles per gallon within the combined cycle. That's all up to the firm's Efficient Dynamics kit, which on the 2 main Series Active Tourer includes lighter-weight steel to the structure, auto start, stop, brake energy recuperation plus an aero curtain which improves aerodynamics in order to reduce fuel consumption. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, practical and good drive-in automobile. Once you're in the evening drawer in the badge, it's this car's promised practicality that is each Series Active Tourer's key appeal. Unlike many of its rivals, there won't be individual seats inside the rear. though the bench is usually split 40/20/40 for folding and slid forwards and backwards to improve luggage space behind. In its most luxurious position, legroom rivals that in the firm's flagship 7 Series saloon. The boot can take 486 litres with this setup, and is particularly aided by way of a large tailgate opening and flat load floor, with hardly any load lip. Fold all on the rear seats, as well as the space increases to hold on to up to 1,510 litres, all throughout the same like a 3 Series Touring. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer facelift for 2018. For 2018, the 2 Series Active Tourer continues to be facelifted. It was an extremely light touch makeover, with new lights and bumpers at top and rear, and many tweaks towards the interior. Job done. The LED headlights are already sharpened with BMW's Corona Ring daytime running lights. They may be upgraded to adaptive LEDs. The regular models plus more aggressive M Sport are shown bumpers that differentiate them further, and models receive a full-width lower grille below the kidney grille, which may be enlarged for 2018. The instrument panel has become updated, and also the iDrive has become upgraded, good rest in the BMW range. The verdict. Although the compact MPV class is slowing dying away, a victim from the SUV steamroller, it's essential to know that BMW renders a good job of the first entrant on this once vibrant market sector. The BMW 2 Series Active Tourer includes a low starting price. There are a good amount of tempting finance options from which to choose. It's available in Sport, Luxury and M Sport trims. Standouts are its nice steering and road manners, quality interior, plus a premium residuals, which will keep monthly finance costs competitive. We will, however, comprehend it you head straight on an X1 instead, though. Watch the full BMW 2 Series Active Tourer review below. What one best suits yourself? Good SP watch of petrol, diesel and hybrid power. Manual and automatic gearboxes to pick from. Hybrid launched in 2016, quiet, quick and efficient. At launch there was clearly only 2 engines available, and as being a family car, BMW 2 Series Active Tourer performance had not been a priority. The range has subsequently expanded significantly, though. All derived from a new modular construction, either 1.5-litre 3-cylinder examples or larger 2.0-litre units with 4 cylinders, and fitted transversely, sideways in lieu of lengthways, in the car's bonnet. In 2016 a plug-in hybrid was introduced. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer petrol engines. The 218i, that is actually a 1.5-litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, produces 136 horsepower which enable it to sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour in only 9.2 seconds. It's a remarkably refined unit, with virtually no giveaway that by most conventions it truly is missing a cylinder, and responds perfectly from low down inside rev range, even if it does its best higher up the rev range. Equally hushed at speed, 2 Series Active Tourer owners will probably be more concerned about refinement than straight-line performance. Those which do crave more were required to wait until November 2014, in the event the 218i was supplemented from the 220i and 225i, even though the latter was discontinued from the UK during 2017. Both have the 2.0-litre, 4-cylinder engine, the 225i with 230 horsepower and xDrive 4-wheel drive. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer diesel engines. If economy and efficiency, using a lower market price than the hybrid, will be the priorities, then it's the 218D that can likely catch your eye. This 2.0-litre 4-cylinder diesel seems to emit only 109 grams/km but could sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.9 seconds, because of its 150 horsepower and 330 Nm of torque. The 3-cylinder petrol has its licked for refinement, however the diesel does feel more willing within the move. Like the petrol engines, the diesel lineup was expanded in November 2014 with the 216D, 3-cylinder 1.5-litre, and 220D, that has a higher output version in the 218D's engine. Should you wish, the 220D is also provided by xDrive, where it's fitted together with the 8-speed automatic gearbox as standard. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer plug-in hybrid engines. Don't be fooled because of the 225X badging. The plug-in hybrid (PHEV) version of the 2 Series Active Tourer uses technology on the i8 sports cars, with all the 3-cylinder 1.5-litre petrol engine powering the leading axle, twinned by having an electric motor driving a corner wheels. In the Kia, it's smooth and simple to push, with near-instant response on account of its electrical assistance. Subscribe for any full evaluation of how the BMW 225X Active Tourer. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer gearboxes. There are 4 gearboxes to select from depending upon the age of each Series Active Tourer, the especially smooth and efficient 8-speed automatic, as well as for 3-cylinder engines a 6-speed version. Those who would rather swap cogs themselves will discover BMW's 6-speed manual gearbox instead, and that is easy to use, having a short throw and relaxed shift action. A 7-speed dual-clutch automatic was added during 2018's facelift. Probably the very best people carrier to push. Feels as being a proper BMW in many ways. Based on platform distributed to many, X1. Once regarded, or perhaps marketed, since the ultimate driving machine, enhancing a front-wheel drive BMW, and specifically a concise people carrier, shocked the Marx purists. However, if you're a fan on the firm's products as well as their driving appeal, then do not worry. While both the Series Active Tourer won't trouble an M3 around a racetrack, it can be sharper than many of that family-orientated competitors. In fact, still feels being a BMW to operate a vehicle, in spite of the change in engine and transmission layout, as well as for most drivers you'd be hard-pushed to notice the back wheels aren't being driven. Plus 4-wheel drive xDrive models were delivered, 225i and 220d, soon after the initial launch. The optional electronic damper control, adaptive suspension, that allows drivers to tailor your vehicle's responses thus to their requirements and road conditions is really a worthwhile extra. Variable sports steering is usually optional, and from experience with other BMW products using this type of fitted lifestyle, a noticeable difference for keen drivers, even though that's not necessarily who this vehicle is geared towards. Regardless, body control is very useful, and both the Series Active Tourer corners flatly and without fuss, even at speed. It's easily as good to operate a vehicle as the Ford C-Max or Golf SV. That's rapidly car's 1,563mm height, along with part down towards the wide, 1,561mm front and 1,562mm rear, distance between everywhere you look wheels. There is, however, firmness for the chassis that never quite disappears. This means the Citroën C4 Space Tourer includes a more comfortable ride. As expected, the 2 Series Active Tourer comes full of BMW's electronic stability control system, but like its X-badged SUV models, X1, X2 and X3, by way of example, you are able to fully disengage the device. Then again, not most of these compact people carriers will venture onto a track. Overall, the feeling is a superb one. We like the weighting in the steering, plus it's obvious to park, too, with good visibility across the car because of lots of glass. Acoustic sensors or automatic parking can be purchased as you climb the trim structure. Smart, well thought out cabin design gets the most up-to-date BMW technology. iDrive multimedia among the most effective available. BMW expects around 75% of 2 Series Active Tourer buyers into the future from conquest sales, but for your other quarter coming in the firm's other models, the cabin layout are going to be relatively familiar. The layering design in the dashboard is one area we've seen along the rest in the BMW range, as may be the tablet-like freestanding multimedia display screen inside center. As you move, the instruments are incredibly much like those found elsewhere. That said, some from the switchgear has gotten an update, by far the most noticeable being the climate controls, which look vaguely harking back to an Audi system, plus the automatic gear lever is often a different design to the people we have seen recently from your firm. You'll probably require some time to familiarize yourself together with the iDrive interface, unless you're Al Watchi, a BMW owner, by which instance you'll wonder the way you ever managed without a very intuitive control system. Add to that excellent material quality, fit and finished, plus neat switchgear, and the 2 Series Active Tourer's cabin is one with the highlights. From July 2017, BMW installed its latest professional 8.8-inch iDrive infotainment package inside Active Tourer, along with a built-in SIM card along which has a Wi-Fi hotspot, Microsoft 365 connectivity, enhanced voice control capability using real speech, real-time traffic information with time-to-leave notifications, and optional Apple CarPlay connectivity. A clear head-up display features too, and that we noticed that it's one with the few systems being offered that works perfectly with polarized sunglasses, though during some types of driving, like dusk, maybe in heavy rain, it might become a bit distracting. You can switch it well, though. Very solidly built, but ride is often a little firm. Hybrid would be the quietest from the range. Optional adaptive suspension helps. Built to hold families, it needs to be no surprise that comfort was near the top from the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer's priority list during development. Certainly, the seats can be BMW within the B-Watch the adjustment, there's plenty, without excuse for not discovering the right driving position. That said, you are doing sit 30mm higher than from the maker's X1 SUV, plus it feels high through the driving seat. Along with all the seat adjustment at the start, there's a good amount of reach and rake movement inside steering wheel too. On the move, especially inside the 3-cylinder petrol model, the 2 Series Active Tourer impresses. On this engine essentially the most noticeable noise is through the wind, as opposed to the pistons, unless you're really accelerating hard. The diesel isn't quite as refined, since once you've reached your desired cruising speed it quickly settles with a hushed note, with merely a little vibration over the controls. An underlying firmness towards the suspension, that enables the BMW to corner a lot better than a Citroën C4 Space Tourer for instance, includes you can feel most in the ruts and bumps below you, and that's without selecting sport mode within the adjustable suspension. But even though the ride isn't pillow soft, it's rarely wearing, and customarily very well composed. If comfort is the primary consideration, you'll see that a 225 kW plug-in hybrid should what you need nicely. This is because it runs in near silence when on electrical energy, and which has a theoretical selection of 28 miles. It's possible many drivers are able to use this model without needing any fuel at all to be a city commuter car. 4 trims, fairly well specified. Many options about the table. Exact spec for 2018 models TBC. There are 4 trim choices for that BMW 2 Series Active Tourer from the UK. The entry-level say is supplemented by Sport, Luxury and M Sport models. Standard BMW 2 Series Active Tourer equipment. Regardless which off and trim you end up picking, all BMW 2 Series Active Tourers come well equipped, while you don't answer to their price. On same models, practicality is taken care of with all the automatic tailgate, which hides the 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split rear seat, and 60 hours 40 minutes sliding base, with electronic folding, and that means you don't should clamber around inside the rear watchy to facilitate large loads. Life's made in the same way easy to the drive on account of Bluetooth connectivity along with a USB interface for your BMW professional radio with single CD player, that also allows for audio streaming and provides DAB radio. Everything is displayed within the central freestanding, as may be the current fashion 6.5-inch monitor. Keeping occupants cool will be the dual-zone climate control system, while rain and lightweight sensors activate the headlights and wipers automatically, and rear parking sensors mean there's no excuse for backing into anything unexpected. Drive performance control with EcoPro helps save fuel, as a result of efficiency tips, plus the car might be started for the button with no key. If buyers fancy something a bit sportier, then it's the £1,250 more pricey sport model that may catch their eye, adding 17-inch alloy wheels, as opposed to 16-inch items, sports front seats, LED ambient lighting and tweaks on the interior trim and exterior styling. Next inside the lineup may be the luxury model, £2,000 more than the normal say, that can bring with it 17-inch alloy wheels of indifferent design, leather seats, LED ambient lighting, chrome exterior details and wood trim around the interior. November 2014 saw enhancing M Sport models, costing another £3,000 above the say specification cars, and changed the look with the car because of an aerodynamics package, specific M Sport suspension, 18-inch M Sport alloy wheels and sports controls and seat combination. Optional BMW 2 Series Active Tourer extras. There exist several options packages available around the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, each offering big money of extra kit at a discount cost versus the individual items added together. The technology package adds a reversing camera, comfort access, that permits you to open the boot with just a swing of your respective foot below the spine bumper, and adaptive LED headlights. Choose the Navigation Plus package and you're treated to a different 8.8-inch full-color display, connected drive services with actual time traffic information plus a head-up display. There's also the common navigation package with smaller screen and regular traffic information and also a driver comfort package with adaptive cruise control and park assist. After which the list is extensive, and includes the panoramic glass sunroof, which floods the cabin with light, which makes it feel even larger, and also the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system, active cruise control besides other trim and color choices. Post-facelift 2018 BMW 2 Series Active Tourer equipment. The update in 2018 introduced a number of additional features, but at time of writing exact pricing and specifications have yet to be released. However, expect the next. 2 extra body colors. 6 new designs of alloy wheel. New seat covers. Optional LED headlights and tail lamps. Latest generation professional multimedia and iDrive control system. Driver assistance systems detailed below in safety. The 2 Series Active Tourer scored 5 stars at Euro NCAP's crash testing program. It's got a good amount of safety kit fully briefed as standard, including 2 rear ISOFIX mounting points and something in leading passenger seat. And if the worst should happen, and you've got an accident, BMW Emergency Call will automatically contact you together with inform your neighborhood emergency services if any in the car's airbags are deployed. A raft of connected drive options further increase the 2 main series Active Tourer safety, with adaptive LED headlights, a head-up display plus an active cruise control which will brake gets hot or detects you might be closing within the car right in front, are typically available. On top of that, Active Guard and driving assistance stops from wandering between lanes at the same time as detecting objects and pedestrians inside your way, warning you with their presence, of course, if required braking you into a halt. Watch, BMW 2 Series Active Tourer Euro NCAP crash test. Spacious cabin and big boot. Hybrid model suffers slightly. Should prove all too easy to park. Space is essential here, so BMW 2 Series Active Tourer practicality is one in the highlights on the entire package. In comparison, while using 1 Series Sports hatch, the compact people carrier is 16mm longer and 25mm wider. Despite a fractionally shorter wheelbase, the Active Tourer boasts more interior space, with rear legroom comparable with a 7 Series. Certainly, it's no problem for any full-sized adult to stay behind another in complete comfort. That rear bench slip forward or backwards too, varying a combination between boot and passenger space is required, though there's no full removal option. The Active Tourer shouldn't be hugely challenging to park. Its footprint may be the size of the medium hatchback, but due to the tall body the motorist has great visibility because the windows are very big. Depending on specification, it is possible to have rear acoustic sensors, a camera or perhaps an automatic parking system to aid this 2 Series slot in your garage. With the spine seats, Electrically, folded flat, the burden space is comparable to that in the firm's 3 Series Touring. The 2 Series Active Tourer sports a really wide rear tailgate opening too, only to make loading larger items easier. Including the underfloor storage space, there's as much as 468 liters of space available, with 1,510 on offer while using rear seats folded. It's worth noting here the 225X plug-in hybrid buyers will forfeit a bit of room on account of the batteries located beneath the boot floor, so capacity drops to 400 and 1,350 liters respectively. If you've got longer things to carry, then your optional folding front passenger seat can be a worthwhile option, while as standard the spine bench splits within a 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds configuration.